Kickstarter saw a record number of games being project funded in 2021. Welcome to another Games Recap. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your host, Brandon Pham, back at it with another Games Recap where I rant about today's top news, unfiltered, unedited, for you guys live on YouTube at 11 a.m. PST every day. So let's go on to the news. The crowdfunding platform, I don't know if you guys remember this, Kickstarter was very popular about 5-8 years ago, and since have been kind of losing a lot of steam, at least in public opinion. In fact, what we saw in the last 2 years was a rise in projects being funded, which means it's still a viable platform. So I was kind of surprised by reading this. It saw a record of $24 million raised across 441 different titles, different projects, and saw a slight decline in fundraiser with a target of over $500,000. So what does that mean? That means in 2020, it had a total of 26 million, and then last year it had a total of 24 million. A slight decline, but overall pretty good in terms of like overall project being funded. What this means and why it's important to us is that Kickstarter is still relevant. It's still viable. It's a great way to connect, and it has a great platform to get the money that you need from an active audience that you incur yourself, or from other Kickstarter projects that people are just generally checking out the site and being able to see your project go live or whatever. Right, so this is like I said before, pretty damn surprising, because for a while I thought Kickstarter had its moment, but then lost a lot of steam because there was a lot of projects that just flamed out because of overpromise, under delivering. I think there was a little bit, for a little while, the validity of it was kind of untrustworthy, is the best way I could put it. But I think because of all that noise kind of fizzling out, allowed Kickstarter to boil down to the hardcore developers that are actually delivering on their promises, but also the people who are serious about using the platform to support their favorite game developer or projects. It essentialized the people that cares about the platform and about the project to remain there, right? So it's kind of exciting because that means, you know, it's still a nice way to kind of get your dreams come true, right? And directly connect without having to come up and try to fund it through your own website, right? The advantages, and I've had guests on this on my podcast a couple years before, talking about the decline of Kickstarter and the advantages of what it is versus you self-funding on your website, is that there's a lot of eyes, there's a lot of projects being still funneled in. Although the game sector have kind of simmered down a bit, there are other industrial design type of projects happening all the time in Kickstarter that are garnering a lot of attention still, which also means by collateral damage, or in this case collateral advantages, they can still come across your project. So that's the advantage of having something like Kickstarter versus hosting something on your own site. ICO, who did this study for Kickstarter, said that there's about 51 projects raising funds in the $100,000 to $500,000 category. So that gives you an idea. If you have a game that you want to pitch, it seems like the safe spot is still under 500,000. And this is kind of ringing true if you go to a professional investor. Usually under 500K, it's a lot easier to kind of fund your project. There's less risk involved, but anything starting to go over 500K to $1 million, there's a lot more questions and answers that needs to be provided to kind of give you the green light for your dreams. So this is still in line with what in the professional investing world would look like. So in a way, I do like that, right? if you're out there and most ideas are unproven, but if you have more than the standard evidence to kind of show that your project is the next big hit, usually I always recommend to start under 500,000 or start small to the bare minimum, so that you're not ending up losing your credibility. I mean, it's not a loan per se, but credibility goes a long way. Just think of No Man's Sky, right? They went super crazy with their promises, and it took them a while to earn that trust back. But because of them working hard and not abandoning their loyal audience, they were able to not just have that initial profit, but continue to profit from their branding and their ability to deliver. So that means that any future projects behind after No Man's Sky, they will see continued success because they have a good comeback story, right? And one of the biggest things that people like to see is the downfall of the giants, but what they want to see even more is the comeback of the one defeated, right? So Kickstarter kind of has that similar story. For a while, I think the last 5 years, it did feel, at least personally to me, and probably you guys can share the sentiment, that it didn't seem like it was a place anymore to kind of hang. But to kind of see how the last 2 years during the pandemic, that these projects, especially finding a place in having Kickstarter realize their dream, it's actually pretty exciting. So this only means that it hit bottom already, and now it's on its rise, and I'm super excited to see what the next couple of years look like for Kickstarter. So that concludes today's games recap. As always, I want to hear you guys in the discussion and comments below. See you guys next time.